away, days burn, disintegrate, years roll along and fade. Don't let them slip away. Right here, right now, today. These are the good old days. Right here, right now, today. Hey, these are the good old days.
In 1982, when Mattel released the Masters of the Universe, they made He-Man and Skeletor household names. They created a craze for everything Masters of the Universe, and for that matter, barbarian lore. You see, Masters of the Universe was such a hit that a lot of toy companies tried to make their own versions of that, or knockoffs of it. So we got like Black Star, and we got Remco Warriors, and Galaxy Warriors, and Warlords. We got all kinds of Masters of the Universe knockoffs. Even the AWA wrestling line was just a Masters of the Universe knockoff. And now, as someone who has loved recollecting all the Masters of the Universe figures and finishing the North American figure line last year, I've looked for ways to justify expanding my Masters of the Universe collection. So I've made a number of custom figures that most of you have seen. If you haven't, you can check out some other videos. I've also added a John Blackstar to my Masters of the Universe collection, as he was kind of a knockoff, but he also came before He-Man in a Filmation show that was kind of like a cousin or an old ancestor to the Masters of the Universe show that we got. But now follow me for this one. Remco released a line of He-Man knockoffs based on the DC comic Warlord. And the main character, Warlord, was just a regular character in the DC comic world. And now, because of that, he's had crossover adventures with the Justice League and Superman. Also, during the 80s, DC ran the Masters of the Universe comic line, in which He-Man himself had a crossover adventure with Superman. So both He-Man and Warlord existed in the DC universe, crossing over with same characters, which in my mind justifies that Warlord gets to be part of my Masters of the Universe collection. And, as luck would have it, I came across a Warlord figure that is bare bones, missing all his stuff. So let's see if we can't get him back in action and back on my Masters of the Universe shelf.
Scanning the area. Yep, that's the last of them. Oh, wait. Travis Morgan, Warlord of Shambhala. Been expecting you.
Alright, so here is our Warlord figure, and the figure itself is in pretty great shape. Not too much yellowing on the white parts, but he is missing everything. So he had a cape and a sword and some wings, and he's missing it all. He's in great shape though. His legs are the figure's looking great. So the first thing we're going to look at is his cape. So to do that, to mimic the cape, it was like a vinyl cape, kind of like the Star Wars capes were. So I'm going to take this piece of vinyl adhesive, this piece of Cricut stuff here. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to peel off the back and stick two pieces together, giving me a nice good thick piece of white vinyl. And that's going to be for the base of our cape. And then what I'm going to do is just trim it here so I got no sticky edges. And then I'm going to cut the cape shape out of this one. And then the black spotted like leopard pattern I'm going to cut out of another piece of black vinyl and stick that on to the cape. So I'm just going to cut this to size. And then once I have this cut to size, we can go into our Cricut design space and we can design up the cape pattern and then the black cheetah pattern for it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is cut out the pattern, the black spotted pattern. And once we have that cut out on our Cricut, we can just weed it. And you can see here, there's that, the animal print, we'll call it. I don't know if it's a leopard or a cheetah or what it is, but it's an animal print. And once we have that done, we're going to just take some adhesive and put it on top of that, and we're going to pull the animal pattern right off of the backing here, with the idea being we're going to take the animal pattern and put it right onto our white vinyl and then cut the cape out of it so it'll cut through the black and the white, hopefully. So there we go. Yeah, just weed this off of there. Beautiful. So now we're going to take this animal spot pattern, we're going to put it onto this piece of white vinyl, and when those two are nice and adhered, we will then cut the cape out of this, and we should have a cape looking as much like the original Remco one as possible. So let's cut our cape pattern out here, and we'll see how it does. Alright, so in theory that mostly worked. So we'll just carefully take this off of that. Some of those spots didn't cut exactly through, but we can trim those and make it look great. So here is our cape, and yes, it worked, but these spots almost look too big to me, almost like it's a cow hide, not an animal print hide, like a cat. So I made another one using exactly the same method, just with smaller spots, and I think it looks much, much better. So now we just gotta fit this onto our figure, and I think we should be all set to go. So the cape looks great and it fits well, but it doesn't sit right. It keeps kind of flipping up, kind of weird. And then I noticed that in all the pictures of the vintage ones, there's a little black like thread tying around the front of the cape, which I thought served no purpose and was just a weird thing. But that's on every single picture I can see of the old vintage ones. So I'm gonna see what that does. I'm gonna tie a string around the front of this cape and see if some kind of miracle happens and it sits better. I don't understand the physics of this. I'm just gonna try. So, for some reason, when I tied that string around it, his cape sits better. And so I guess Remco kind of knew what they were doing back in the day. That is maybe the most fun discovery I've ever made. Fantastic. I love that. Alright, so his cape is looking great, as good as a vintage one is. Now we're going to make up his very unique and specific sword that he came with. So he came with, again, with a cool looking sword. So let's go to our 3D space and see if we can't make one up. Alright, so here is the sword, and it looks great. We just need to get a little curve onto the hand guard there. So we're going to just take out our trusty cup of hot boiled water, and we're just going to put the handle of the sword in there for just a few seconds, and that should soften it up enough that we can just gently bend the handle guard in. Perfect. I think that looks incredible. That worked very, very nicely, and now he's got his sword. The next thing is a trademark look of the Warlord was these huge wings on the side of his helmet, like bigger than Thor's even. And so the figure did that by having plastic wings that's shoved into the side of these little slots on his helmet. So we're going to see if we can't make some up. Alright, so here are the wings. I think they turned out great. And just printed them off here. And they'll fit in his head like that. And that looks great. Now I know the vintage figure had white wings like this. But my test ones I printed off were in gray. And I actually think they look better. They look like they're part of the helmet a little bit more. And so I'm just going to have gray ones on my figure because I think they look a wee bit better. And yeah, that turned out really, really well, and I love the way those looked. Fantastic. I think this figure is a real quick project, but I think he turned out really great, and I could not be happier with the way he looks. And I'm very excited to be able to put him in my Masters of the Universe collection with a clean conscience. So there you go, there's my look at the Remco Warlord figure. I love the accessories that we gave him, I think they look great. This project was a lot of fun. And if you had as much fun as I did today, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. I really would appreciate it. Leave a comment, I love hearing from you on your ideas, what I should do next, what I should have done differently. I love hearing that kind of feedback. But most of all, I just hope to see you back here for the next video.